Debt confessions update. I started the year at $78,607.65. Interest is ruthless. Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sia, and today we are doing a much overdue debt confessions update video. So if you haven't seen my first one, go check that out. I did that last year, I think. Sheesh, I hope it was last year was my last one or my first one. I might have done two, but pretty much, if I'm remembering correctly, told you guys how much debt I'm in, how I got into that much debt, and what I plan to do about it. I'm hopefully not going to go into any sad, sappy stories because it is just the outcome of the things I decided to do. No matter how I've gotten that debt, credit card debt, school debt, whatever debt it is, it's just decisions that I made in my life, and now I'm on a journey to get rid of it and free myself from the shackles of debt. I think about it so often, unfortunately, and fortunately, because that means I am focused on paying it off. Do kind of need a lot of motivation in this journey, but even more so, you definitely need the discipline to get through this journey, especially if you have as much debt as I do or more. And I'm sure you guys, if you're on this video, you've probably seen different YouTube channels with major, huge names who speak to people that are in hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, maybe from anywhere between a few thousand to, $1 million in debt. And I fall somewhere in line in that because I have debt, and most Americans do, as we know that. I mean, I felt that for the past however many years, 10 plus years that I've been dealing with this debt. I feel like at this point, I at first got credit cards early on in my journey, and I would pay them off on a monthly basis in full. And I was not making a lot of money at that time. I was probably making between $10 to $14 an hour at the time. And I was paying a portion of my rent. It was a lot cheaper than rent is now these days, but I was able to manage it. I shopped all the time. I was living the life. Okay, I was in New York City and I was able to manage that. But life happens. Sometimes you just fall off on that plan to stay disciplined and pay off your debt when you need to kind of get comfortable. I kept getting credit card increases, kind of get comfortable with holding a balance, which was a huge mistake. Using my credit cards for things that I didn't need or for other people even. And they were all normal mistakes. It's very normal, unfortunately, to carry debt and to do things like that. But I am trying to clear that up and start fresh. And when I say that, I am actually mostly talking about my credit card debt. I do have student loan debt as well, but I'm not majorly focused on that right now. When I'm done with my credit card debt, we will revisit that, but it is definitely not my focus right now, is my high interest credit card debts. So without me further rambling, let's get into the numbers maybe. So in my monthly budget tracker, if you haven't seen my monthly budget videos, I share this tracker that I keep up with, and I record my budget, record my expenses, record my savings, the money that I send to investments, all of that. But what I also record is my debt. So I have a debt tab in the budget tracker, and I do actually sell these. And I have been told that when people use it consistently, they do pay off their debt. You can check in one of my videos, I got a comment about someone paying off $30,000 of debt last year, having this as a tool on their journey. Obviously, it is just a tool, and it really depends on you if you are on this journey to make those changes and the sacrifice that you need to do in order to pay off your debt. But I thought that was just super cool. So if you are interested, it is always linked down below. So let's get started on the numbers. So I started the year at $78,607.65 in debt. You know how much money that is? I mean, clearly, I just said it, but that is so ridiculous. People have way more, way less. If you have way less, feel better because you'll be able to get through it much quicker than I probably will be able to get through this. And you definitely can do it. Although I'm looking at this huge number, my goal is to still pay this off. A disclaimer here, I'm not one of those people that are like so anti-credit cards or anything like that. Obviously, it just needs to be used correctly. And I know that I can do that and I have done that. I just am much smarter now and I would do it differently than I had before. But anyways, let's talk about what what makes up this $78,000 in debt? So my largest debt is my student loan, and that at the start of the year was $43,992.84. My second largest is my credit cards at $33,713.20. And then the last, sort of, asterisk, is $901.61 for my personal loan. Now, I also do have medical debt, but I have not put that in here, and I don't plan on really looking at it. I do plan on paying it, but I don't plan on looking at it right now, as that is not accruing any interest. It'll get paid eventually. Let's start with number one, which is my student loan debt. So I have a student loan from 1 year of college, you guys. That is from 1 year of college. I graduated college, but that was after my first year. I went to city school in New York to finish out my last few years, and I ended up paying for that out of pocket as I went. And honestly, I should have just gone there in the first place because I wouldn't have this balance right now at all. Could I have completely avoided this? Yes, but I was also 17 at the time, making decisions about what my whole future is gonna look like. And the numbers they show you in those little pamphlets and stuff that are like, oh, you'll make this money in this career, and it makes it seem like, oh, student loan debt, that's easy peasy. Like, as soon as I get out of here, I'm gonna pay this off. Wrong. My loan was actually $20,000 to begin with. Almost double than what I actually started with when I got it back in 2010. Like I said though, my plan right now is not to pay this off, though I do pay for this monthly, and it's like $378 a month. I'm hoping to refinance it at some point after I pay off my credit card debt though. So like when my credit score goes up higher from paying down my debts, I'm hoping that I'll be able to refinance it. Second is the monster, which is my credit card debt. So if you've been following me for a while or just watching my videos and look back on my videos, you'll see like 2 years ago, I think I did a video of how I will pay off $40,000 worth of debt in a year or whatever. And that was my plan. That was genuinely my plan. The year didn't go as planned. The following year didn't go as planned. I ended up having surgery, all this stuff. And then last year is when I really started to get serious about my debt payoff journey. But by middle of the year, things changed up. I was using my money for other things. I decided to focus on saving an emergency fund first. That's larger than the recommended $1,000. So that is funded, thankfully, and I feel a bit safer, a lot safer just, focusing on my debt at this point. My goal for this year is to pay down $30,000 in debt. What makes up this $33,000, which is actually now $29,985.76. I didn't do that, huh? And my student loan is now at $43,638.97, which is only a $353 difference from the start of the year, and it is the beginning of April, which is crazy, actually. That makes the interest rate seem so high. I just cannot focus on that right now because it's not even close to what my credit card rates are. Okay, back to credit cards. So my credit card debt, like I mentioned, started at $33,713.20 this year. And now I have a balance of $29,985.76. And what makes up those current balances? So I started the year with my largest card at $17,460, and it is currently $17,187. So that's a $273 decrease. My second largest card I started at $9,291, and it's currently at $9,016, which is a $274 decrease. My third largest, I started at $4,477, and now it's at $3,782, and that's a $695 decrease, and that is because I recently made a large payment on it. And then my smallest card, I started at $2,484, and now it's at $0. So I did pay off a card so far for this year. Like I said, I also paid off that small loan of $901, and I did pay off my smallest credit card. I am doing the snowball method, though. If you looked at all my debts, maybe you're thinking I'm doing the avalanche method because I'm starting with my high interest debts, but I don't know if it's the highest for all my credit cards across the board. But I know that the balance that I'm starting with, at least for my credit cards themselves, are from the smallest to the largest, and I'm just snowballing that. So I'm really happy, really proud of myself that I was able to pay off this card. To be honest with you, last year I paid off 2 of these cards, and by the end of the year I racked them back up, and that is far from what I'm trying to do this year. So while I'm budgeting and really staying consistent, so far I've done 3 full months of budgeting and actually tracking my expenses. As long as I continue to do that, I'll know I'll be able to stay on track, and as long as I'm able to like keep a buffer for play in there, and also I have now the bigger emergency fund so that I don't have to touch this anymore or make an excuse to, oh yeah, I could just swipe my credit card. No, we're not there yet. We haven't earned that yet. We have not earned that, so I have to do it again. So I'm working on that second card now, and my plan is to hopefully have that paid off by the end of April, actually, so I can start hammering at these bigger cards. That's where I am, honestly. My mind is really focused on it. I didn't, pay off as much as I planned to this year, but I'm giving myself grace in that, just as long as I'm not spending on them right now. When I am done with this credit card debt journey and I am in a place where I'm like, okay, I want to use it for my normal expenses, pay it off immediately, etc., I'll look into, cards that'll work well for my lifestyle and what I want later on, whether it's a travel card or just coins for whatever reason, cashback, whatever it is, I'll do that. But until then, we are paying off these cards. I am at a point right now that is not worth it to refinance because my credit score, I think, is around 630 something, 634 or something, like estimated. And I'm not gonna get the best rate right now. So I'm also waiting until that increases, and then I'll probably refinance or do a balance transfer for, at that point, maybe my last credit card, so that the interest, I can have 0% interest for a while. I'll just knock that out because interest is ruthless, okay? It is ruthless. Paying on my biggest card, maybe $450 a month, but it's only decreasing approximately, and it looks like I used it last month, so it didn't even decrease. I gotta see what's charged there. I think I do have an annual fee on this one, but either way, $173 monthly that it decreases when I'm sending nearly $500. That makes me sick. That makes me sick to my stomach, okay? I think I did a video last year talking about how much interest I paid the year before, and it was like $17,000 or something. I wish I remember what I said, but that's ridiculous. That is definitely the plan, but for right now, we're focused on paying off my debts. I do have some bonuses that I will be getting, like a sign-on bonus that I'm getting from my new job. I know for sure I'll get the first one. That 3 months is coming up, and then the next one I'll get at my 6-month mark, which I expect to get. Things are going well, as I'm being told. I still have my anxieties there, but that's what I'm being told. So that money is going straight to my credit cards to help me accelerate this process, which I'm really excited about. Just to wrap this up and do a little recap, this is where I am with my debt. I started the year at $78,607.65. I'm currently at $73,624.73, and that is a movement or a decrease of $4,982.92 for this year so far, and that's just Q1. Of course, I paid more. Like when I just did my Q1 recap, you will see that I spent $1,000 on debts. I think almost $6,000 went to credit cards and $2,000 went to loans. As you can see, I'm only decreased just under $5,000. So a lot of that got dumped into interest, but that's okay. We're gonna knock these down, and I'm excited to give you guys another update. I actually kind of like that this fell after a quarter, so I'm thinking I'll do these videos on a quarterly basis. So I'll be back with an update for Q2. My goal for this quarter is actually to pay down $8,000 in credit card debt. My stretch goal is to pay down $10,000. So I'm hoping that next time we speak, I would have done that or more. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I will be happy to answer them, and if I have to do a video in between the quarter to answer them, I will definitely do that. But until then, you guys, bye. Good luck on your debt journey. Bye.